guys, and welcome to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Shanae Howard. This is Tommy Shelby.
Hello.
This is Ryan the Rat Robinson.
How you doing?
Every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. And what have you guys been playing?
Well, I gotta tell you guys, I've still been playing a lot of fighting games, so I'm not going to talk about that today.
Oh.
What else I have been playing is a couple of mobile games, which is weird for me because I don't play many mobile games.
Yes, join
in
my
general.
side.
And when I do, they're typically paid mobile games from developers that I trust. Anyways, Project Battle turned out to be Teppen. Have you played this, Shanae?
No.
So Teppen is a card game from Capcom, crossover with a lot of their more popular franchises. And I've really been enjoying it so far. It's the only mobile card game I think I've ever actually enjoyed, Hearthstone included. I always thought Hearthstone was like watered down Magic, you know? And this is that too. This is also watered down Magic, but it's real time, which makes it a bit more exciting.
How exactly real time?
Because there's no turns. The battles happen in real time.
I was inviting you to explain how battles worked and everything.
Well, so like your attacks are on a meter that's constantly moving towards the opponent's side of the board, and yeah, you just play shit as you gain mana, which is done on a cooldown versus, land and turns.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I've been having a good time with it. I was worried about ranked. I don't know if I just was missing this or what, but it seemed like for the first many ranks, I was leveling up when I was winning and not leveling down when I was losing.
So I
was like, this isn't fucking ranked. What is this, you know?
Yeah.
But once you get into the higher ranks, you do start to rank down if you lose.
Yeah, and I think in my limited experience, card games tend to do it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
But I like it quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. You got all your good characters there. I've been playing a Ryu deck, which is very much like a red deck in Magic. I've been playing some Chun-Li, which has a lot of like heals and buffs and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really cool. The other mobile game, which I was actually excited for and been waiting for, is Dr. Mario World.
Oh, yeah.
And man, that game sucks.
Yeah. Not good.
I was very disappointed.
Oh,
It feels
sucks.
like Candy Crush. It does not play like Dr. Mario whatsoever.
Oh,
That's
that's
That's a
disappointing.
bad, shitty game. Don't play that.
I'm not sure why they changed like the mechanic. Like,
Because how would you do that in a way that would work well on a mobile device? You know, I knew that they were going to change something, but I didn't think they would make it so that an imbecile could play it so easily. Like it is
An imbecile.
It is bad. It's very boring. I just couldn't be more disappointed in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a little bit, and I think I've maybe booted up like 3 times, and each time I'm just like it's just not fun or engaging, and I kind of just zone out,
Yeah.
and I don't really think about it. It is not living up to the legacy of Dr. Mario.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I love Dr. Mario. Like, when I say I love Dr. Mario, like, I know the weird ones, like Dr. Luigi and Miracle Cure, and, like, Dr. Mario's that people haven't played, you know? This thing is just fucking garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and play it at your own peril, you know.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
So I've also been playing a lot of fighting games, so I guess I won't talk about that.
I mean, you can. I just chose not to.
I just feel like I've been talking about it a lot, and I don't know. I like to, but I will say this: there are 2 things I will say about fighting games, and then I'll move on. 1, I tried Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat. Wait, no, I tried Shao Kahn. Yeah, he was okay, but I tried Collector and Mortal Kombat, and that guy is fun as heck.
Yeah.
He's a fun character. And then also I've been playing Samurai Showdown and losing with increased frequency, but still having a good time. But
Ryan and I played some Mortal Kombat and some Samurai Showdown.
yeah. So Tom, who hasn't been playing Samurai Showdown, as far as I know, except for when he's in my company at my apartment.
I played the Japanese demo
Yeah.
before the game released.
Yeah. But he hasn't been playing nearly as much Samurai Showdown as I have, as far as I know. But he came over to my house and embarrassed me in front of my dogs. And it was really eye-opening.
But you know what? You beat me in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also a game I don't play, but
Sure. So I mean, I
still
don't
beat me.
I don't really feel good about that.
You could have left out the also game I don't play bit.
well, I don't want to just embarrass myself on the internet, Shanae.
Sure. Tom just has a natural aptitude for these things.
Yeah.
I'm coming along, I think. But
You are coming along.
I also restarted recently Final Fantasy 14. And
A Realm Reborn.
yeah, I have been reborn
Ooh.
in the Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As my girlfriend and I have been playing it together, and I'm having a pretty good time with it.
Eorzea.
Yeah.
See, I know some things.
Sure, yeah. So I haven't.
Are y'all cat people?
I am a cat people. She is a
Crab people.
crab people. Oh,
Crab.
real quick though. So yeah, I haven't played the game in about 5 years. So a lot seems to have changed, but it still is got a very enjoyable loop to it. I've seen a lot of people look like bunnies, like the bunny lady from Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
But Tom saying crab people reminded me one more thing. I also played a battle royale in which you play as a crab fighting other crabs, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You walk around on the beach, and you have to eat food to make yourself grow bigger. And there are other crabs who are doing the same. And as you happen upon the crabs, you can engage them to fight them, or you can focus on getting bigger. And you can grab weapons like swords and stuff. And
Swords.
yeah, and it's a really fun little game.
I feel like what's a sword gonna do when you already got the clamps?
Yeah. Well, see, apparently
Clamp.
So the clamps don't do nearly as much damage as the sword, as it turns out, but the clamps are still pretty effective against lesser crabs. But yeah, I had said before that the battle royale genre was not done, and they still had unexplored frontiers. Those frontiers were crab.
I feel like that was a pretty safe prediction.
Sure. But did you predict the crab?
Did you?
No, I could not. I could not have foreseen the crab.
Yeah.
But it's neat. I think it's a cool little twist. And usually battle royale games on phones aren't fun.
Yeah.
But,
It's a phone game.
Yeah, it's a phone game. I didn't mention that before. But it's fun. Like, seeing a little crap run around.
Bless you.
Yeah, a little bit. Spill it out on me. That's all right.
Did you just headbutt the microphone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
go back and watch that.
Sure.
Roll back the tape.
Yeah. Roll that beautiful bean footage. You know what that's a reference from, Shanae?
No.
It's all right.
It's an old bean commercial with a dog.
Yeah, the dog talked.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the baked beans and it was the golden retriever?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
Bush's beans.
Yeah. He would say the secrets were safe because dogs can't talk, but then the dog would talk.
Oh, yeah.
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 90s advertising.
Imagine you'd have to kill that dog.
Imagine that dog's dead by now.
Yeah.
No, that dog's still alive.
Sure.
It's a CEO now.
The beans sustain him.
I have not really been playing that much because I get sick and I've had a very busy time. I had to take my car to the shop. All these things happened.
What happened to your car, Shanae?
Something with my crankshaft. It was a pretty penny to fix it.
There's a weekly comic strip called Crankshaft about an old man and his son-in-law.
I go to a bar called the Crankshaft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Oh,
That's just funny to me.
that was a very believable thing to say.
I was like, there's a bar around here named the Mine Shaft.
That place sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Man, put him on blast on the internet.
I've been doing mobile games this week. I downloaded Kingdom Hearts Unchained
Again?
or Union Cross. a while ago, and I haven't really been playing it, and so I've been playing it this week. It is still the same mechanics, and nothing really has changed since last time I played it.
Go ahead and delete it.
Might as well. And a lot of like solitaire like games, or just play straight up solitaire.
I play a lot of solitaire on my phone, actually.
Solitaire is a relaxing time.
They took it off the computers at work, so I have to play it on my phone.
Sure.
That's unfortunate.
Get in where you're fitting,
Yeah.
So I've been playing just a lot of solitaire like games. And
People have found a lot of different ways to put little twists on solitaire that I think are pretty neat.
Has anybody played that Dota auto chess? I hear that's pretty fun.
I gave it a whirl.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what was going on or what I was doing, and games seemed to last for a while. But it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I think you could. It's easy. It seems like you could play it knowing nothing about Dota.
Sure.
Which I know nothing about Dota, so.
yeah, and then I have still been playing Wizards Unite. I have a goal in mind to never spend money in that game, ever. So that's something kind of different with Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go, every now and then I'd put money into it.
Sure.
But this game, I'm making very much a point to never give them my money.
Sure.
And now that I've been playing it more, and that is like, I'm not even going to give it like $1. It has made it more challenging, and a lot of the complaints I saw about energy usage, I get more now that I'm like higher leveled.
But more challenge is more fun.
Yeah.
Well, also just like there's no like energy, like I almost want to say reimbursement, but I don't know the word I'm trying to look for right now. But there's no like energy giving replenishment things like around me.
I don't have any energy replenishment either.
I got you a bowl.
That's just for the flavor.
And
well, Shanae, if that burden is too heavy for you to bear, for a modest fee,
just for the taste of it.
Yeah, Diet Coke.
Yeah.
For a modest fee, we can lighten that burden for you.
Yeah. So I've been having to go out of my way, and since it's summer, it's I like take my dog on shorter walks and stuff because she can easily get overheated. So that's been a bit of a challenge where now me and Berto on the nightly will go if I'm around, obviously. If I'm not at work, we will go around to a bunch of different spots because he still plays Pokemon Go regularly. So, and it's all based off Ingress, so all like the spots where you get like towers or Pokemon gyms or whatever are in the same spots. So we go and do that together, and that helps.
It just seems like these games are more trouble than they're worth.
How do you mean?
I don't want to go out of my way. I want to do it from my couch.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is, to get up and go around. It's just like really convenient.
Maybe that's why you look like you do and I look like the way I do.
Yeah. I experienced my first Harry Potter event. And I don't know. I do think I enjoyed the Pokemon events more for how they play.
Sure.
Because the Harry Potter events is very much
every wizard for himself.
Also, like Pokemon are pretty neat, and like Harry Potter's just kids in robes.
Yeah, I would have to say.
No, there's like monsters and like unicorns and shit.
Yeah,
and centaurs, and then you battle.
Pokemon has monsters and unicorns and shit.
Yeah,
and then you battle vampires.
I don't know if they have any vampires. I'm not too keen on vampires anyway.
Yeah,
I love them.
you battle them. You defeat them.
Sure.
I want to kiss them.
Yeah.
It's wrong game for that.
Yeah, but you know the right one.
Yeah, I'll hook you up. And so I've also been playing that.
They should make a mobile game based on Nicolas Cage's movie Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
Yeah. So this week, Ryan brought up the topic of positive.
You got it.
My brain just broke. Please
Sure.
help me out, Ryan.
I said positive representation in the video games.
Thank you. Yet again, almost said reimbursement.
Sure.
I mean, I'd like some of that too. I spent a lot of money on those games, you know.
Positive reimbursement in video games.
Yeah, so it's something that I've been thinking about with more increased frequency over the last few years, because I've become a little bit more conscious of how people want to be able to see themselves in video games. And I was thinking and this really came up for me when when I was working with the character creator in Monster Hunter World. And I was thinking about how, like, a lot of the time when I'm creating a lot of time, my first character in any game where I can create my own character, I want them to look as much like me as possible. That's just what I always do. And then later on,
you're a handsome man.
Thank you. And then later on, if I make another character, then I'll usually make them look like, something else. So one of my, and I think that this really pertains mostly to Japanese games, but one of my big gripes had always been that I could make my character black, but my choices in hairstyles were either bald or afro for most part. Maybe sometimes I'd get some cornrows in there. But like you go over to the other hairstyles and there's like a million different straight hairstyles, right? And so then I started thinking about how.
Well, you can use those hairstyles, right?
I mean, I can.
Not all of them, but yeah.
Like if you pick a black character, it doesn't lock you out of those hairstyles, right?
Well, no, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that I want to make a character that looks like me. And I feel like
just shave your head.
Sure. And it's not about whether or not I'm allowed to use them. It's about whether or not I would be able to see, because it just seemed to me like a lot of what people would see when these character creators is just like bald or afro, maybe cornrows, but no other. I mean, there are no other hairstyles that I could identify with. And I've seen like a million other hairstyles that other people with different kinds of hair could identify with. And it's not necessarily that it's an expectation that I be catered to specifically. It's just something that it's something that came up so frequently that I often thought about it. But then I started looking more toward, because that's something that I've chosen not to be upset about. I kind of just accept it as just something that comes with it. But then I started thinking about like the games that I play and the characters that I gravitate toward. And when I started playing Mortal Kombat, I started, I was experimenting with a lot of different characters. But I gravitated toward Jax in that I saw that he's not like a stereotype or anything, right? He's just like he's confident and he's a strong dude. And whereas I think back like maybe 20 years and that kind of character, seeing that kind of black character in a video game wasn't always the case. And it was always really cool because I think that now, I think more and more people, and I can't speak to anyone else's experience because I can only speak to my own. But it feels like it feels like some people it feels like more people are being represented in a more positive way, I think. And I think that's really neat because I think that people like to see themselves in media. And I like seeing positive versions of people that look like me. And I don't know if anyone else cares about that stuff. I just know that that's really important to me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's characters. I mean, I know it's a movie, but it's characters like Furiosa in the newest Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
Like
she's not like you at all.
No, she's not like me. But I'm saying like for like women representation, like I get super excited when I see women that aren't in like media that aren't necessarily like stereotypes.
Yeah.
Anytime I see like a deviation of that, I really enjoy that just because I don't feel like I follow all like female stereotypes. I don't feel like me being a female is necessarily definitive in every action and who I am. And that's how it turns out a lot when you have like your token female in a video game, especially if it's like a first person shooter or something like that. Like there is just like the stereotypes of either you're a hard ass drill sergeant-esque character or you're super feminine. And it's nice seeing characters that doesn't necessarily matter if they're female. They're just a cool character.
Yeah.
And I like that representation a lot. And I do come across it. I feel like more in video games than I do in like media as far as, but then I normally play a lot more niche video games. And I also don't watch a lot of movies. So that's probably just anecdotally, I'm probably a bad person to talk to about this. But a lot of like, obviously visual novels, the games that I play on those, there's a lot of stereotypes. When it comes to love interest, most of them have your character be a blank slate, so you can impose your own thoughts and feelings. And you don't. Most of the time, you don't even see what the character looks like.
I don't know why. I guess it just says something about me. But I'd always assume, like in those games, that it assumed you were a woman. But
most of them do.
Otomis as a genre is marketed intentionally towards women.
Yeah, but the game itself isn't making an assumption about whether or not you're a woman.
Yeah, most of them. Not most of them. I would say there is a good portion that obviously has the character model for the main character.
Right.
But there are a lot of them, I would say not even a minority, that don't even have a character model for the main character. Like you never see what they look like. So they use female pronouns to talk about how beautiful you are, but they don't. But you don't know what you like. It's me.
Yeah.
The main character looks like me. That's just what it is. And
it's you in Japan.
Sure.
It's me in Japan having all these Japanese boys and girls love me.
Sure.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's gross.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
Well, you don't want it to happen. You're getting married, remember?
Not all of them.
Sure.
Just one. Just one. Un boy.
Yeah, I don't often talk about women in video games because I don't really feel like I know what, like I can tell like what a really blatant bad portrayal of a woman is in a video game. Like I could recognize that, right? But like I think that some of that stuff is a little bit more nuanced in the way that like I can look at a character and say, oh, I think that character is cool, but I think that there's a little bit more nuance to help, as someone that's not an experience that I can identify with. I can certainly empathize with it, but like for example, I think that that Aloy is a cool character, right? And
yeah,
I don't and I also like I can say like Aloy is a cool character. She's strong and she's capable, right? But and I can't speak for how well that resonates for video game players who are also women, I try to shy away from making assumptions about stuff like that.
I didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn, but
because you hated that character.
Yeah, because I hate playing as women.
Yeah.
But when I hear other women talk, or I talk to other women about like female representation in video games, when most of the time the topic just goes to the variety of it, mainly because, like as you said, we do want to see ourselves in video games, and I definitely have a femininity about me, but I'm not. I just don't see myself as the most feminine person, like the way I dress, hold myself. I don't think it's the epitome of what Western civilization thinks as femininity, and that I'm totally okay with that. But there are like a lot of characters that are just that stereotype, or if they are, like for a long time, if they were like badass and like fighting, they're also extremely, extremely sexy, and I don't walk around extremely, extremely sexy in like a leotard that's skin tight. I just don't.
I feel like that's often the same for male characters, though.
Yeah.
If you look at Kratos or Gears of War or like anything like that, it's all these huge
shirts
jacked
off,
dudes,
guns out.
you know.
like because like most of us don't look like that, right?
Right.
And like Kratos, like I think that, and it's like when you look at Kratos, it's like there might be aspects of Kratos's, like not his experience obviously, but like some of his personality or how he interacts with people that maybe some people can identify with that. But how, well, I mean, like not. Come on, Tom. You know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes, like if you have like a bad relationship, like if somebody might have a bad relationship with a family member, or they might not get along with their kids or whatever, right?
Sure.
But like obviously, like most people don't look like Kratos. Like that guy is just, he's insane.
Yeah.
You know. So, it's just I think that like, and it's funny because like that is Kratos and Marcus Phoenix and all those guys are like the majority of male video, and Dom. How do I forget? Yeah. Our patron saint. But a majority of them look like that, right? Like
right.
A majority of them are like, but like, I can't speak for. I haven't met most gamers, so I can't speak for that. I can't say that most gamers that I've met, or most people that I've met who are playing these games, they don't look like that,
right?
And I'm not saying it's necessarily unattainable. I'm saying it's unlikely.
I think representation in video games is just kind of it's a weird subject. Because here's the thing, right? I'm Korean, Mexican,
sure.
I'm white. There is no video game character that's like me.
Right.
And they're probably just never going to be.
Right.
You know? It doesn't really bother me. Maybe it's just because it's all I've ever known, you know? But
if there was a character and the game wasn't garbage, would you be stoked?
I don't know that it would make much of a difference to me, honestly.
Yeah. And it's not something that I can expect to matter to everybody. You know?
And I'm somebody who cares very much about creators' intent.
Right.
I think that like the whole thing with Kingdom Come Deliverance was ridiculous. They were making a period piece at that time in that place of the world where they're trying to be historically accurate. There were no black people, you know? People shat all over them for that. You know, I think like if you were intentionally making a story that is about a straight white male and that's the story that you want to tell,
sure,
more power to you. You know,
yeah.
I do get where you guys are coming from, kind of, right? Obviously, I don't completely. I mean, look, when you're a mutt, like I'm a mutt, right? Not like you're fucking half Irish and half German in the United States, right? When you're a mutt, like I'm a mutt. Mexicans don't accept you, Koreans don't accept you, and white people don't accept you, right? So like
never.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And I don't. It's not a point of view that I expect a lot of people or really, you know, most people to be with me on. It's just, you know, when I'm playing video games, I'm playing them for myself.
Yeah.
And you know, there are times when I see I get characters, and like I'm fortunate, and I feel like I'm fortunate to know what a lot of my genetic makeup is, so like I don't have to worry about like I don't have that same stigma with my mixed ethnicity that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
But the times when like it doesn't happen often, but when I see characters like Marcus in Watch Dogs 2,
yeah,
or you know, characters like that, then it makes me really happy to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it an expectation that I have of developers? No, not necessarily.
All right.
It's great when it happens, but at the same time,
when it happens and it's done well.
Yeah, because like if like don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna run out and play your game just because there's a black guy in it. That's not gonna happen.
Right, and I'm not saying like I get where you come from, like especially with character creators. Yeah, there should be more options, obviously. Yeah. You know, but I don't like if it's a narrative story about a specific character, and let's say I'm not saying like you cannot write a character that you couldn't possibly relate to. A lot of people have done it great, right? Yokotaro wrote about hermaphrodites. Now I can't remember his name. The Missing, Deadly Premonition.
I forget.
Anyways, he's writing about a trans character. He's a Japanese man, you know, like, but like, I feel very often, and not as much now, but more so like 10 years ago,
yeah,
and still sometimes now, that you'll have a white male creative director who is trying to write a strong female protagonist, and it comes across very poorly. No, sweary. Sweary.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyways.
I think that people should write to their experiences, right? I think that people should write what they know.
But if that was the case, then you'd see almost no diversity
I guess
in the gaming scene, because the majority, not all, but the majority of game creative directors are white men or Japanese men.
Right.
Not always,
right,
but most of the time.
Right. And I think that a lot of the time when we see, positive portrayals of people of color or people or non-binary individuals, or trans individuals or what have you, I think that a lot of the time that when we see any kind of, if we see like a tasteful or well done piece of work that represents those people, I think that a lot of the time, like their creative process does not exist in a vacuum, right? Like they usually have some kind of, like, some people providing them with some kind of perspective or like outside perspective. Like I can't speak of that because I'm not in the writing room.
I think when it's done best is when it's not that. Like if you look at Yoko Taro with the character Emil as a gay boy or the character Kaine as a hermaphrodite, right? They just are.
Right. They
don't try to emphasize on it.
Sure.
They don't pay too much attention to it. That's just who those characters are.
Right.
And
I think that the best stories, I think that the best ones are the ones where, like, again with Watch Dogs 2, right? Marcus Holloway could have just as easily been white, Latino, Japanese, whatever. Like he just happened to be black.
Sure.
That's where I like it the most.
Yeah.
Whereas if like I've pointed out before, there are times where because Marcus is black, he notices certain things.
Right.
Or he's more apt to point certain things out. But like the story isn't about him being a black hacker. It's just about him being a hacker, right? And there are stories that you could tell that where the person's racial, sexual, gender identity or what have you are central to the story. And so in those cases, like you're probably going to make the character that thing that you're talking about. But in stories like Watch Dogs 2 or
Horizon Zero
Dawn, like I think like, and I don't think with Horizon too, like I don't know that, like, and I've played about maybe 50 hours of that game, and I don't remember any point at which Aloy's gender became like a point of conversation with anybody.
Yeah. But even like in real world experience though, right? Like we were talking about J.K. Rowling last week off the show, right?
Yeah.
With Taro, like he has never brought up Kaine's gender in an interview.
Sure.
But interviewers often bring it up to him. And they're like, "Hey, so why did you decide to make Kaine a hermaphrodite?" And he's like, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why would you ask that?
Yeah.
Because those people exist.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that's like definitely like, yeah, like sorry, when I was talking like
hot mic.
When I was talking earlier about Furiosa, like having a character that can be relatable, that just happens to be like great representation.
Yeah.
Having a character that is female characters like Aloy, as like all the way to like Bayonetta, I do think are a good representation. But Bayonetta's, it is like her gender and her sexuality are very much integral to the game. And
it's a part of that character, and if that's the character you want to write, I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so and there are...
We've no problem with all the, every character in Mortal Kombat being fucking homicidal maniac, you know?
Right.
But we have a problem with the character showing some skin.
Yeah.
That's this country's problem.
Yeah.
That's not the world's problem. That's America's
problem.
I
I think that people
hot take over there. And there are women out there that do wield their sexuality as almost like a weapon in their day-to-day lives. And that's like more power to them.
Day-to-day.
If that's their lifestyle, like I have absolutely no problem if like you want to really own your sexuality and femininity, because there also is other things to Bayonetta besides just sex. Even though
it's mostly sex.
Yeah.
She has conversations
and hair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sex and hair.
Yeah.
Hairy sex.
No, and boot guns. She's got boot guns.
Sure, those are made of hair too, I think, though.
Tommy, can you confirm?
Not a lot of bayonets in that game, you know?
Sure. Especially for a game where a woman is named after bayonets, you know?
You're right.
Well, her real name's Teresa, but yeah.
It says right there on the box. But I think that the best answer is to, like, because those people exist. And I don't think that I think that's the most apt
and that's what I
response.
really like about his response to those questions is like he didn't think about all that, you know, and it seems genuine because it's never something he brings up ever, you know.
And I think that honestly, because a lot of time when you ask someone like, well, why did you make this character this, right? Yeah. Or why is this character like?
But you wouldn't ask like, why did you make this character a man, or why did you make this character black? Like you don't do that, you know.
You know, because I think that, you know, it's funny because a lot of the time, you know, we don't. You know, we play these games, and I guess it really depends on the type of game that we're playing, right? Like if we're playing like a fast-paced action game, then it seems like that question doesn't come up as often, right? Because like I feel like
focus.
Yeah, because like I feel like I mean, going back to our patron saint, no one asked why Dominic Santiago is Latino,
right?
No one asked why Cole was black, right?
But like, you know, to that point, like I don't think anyone gave a shit about the story of Gears of War.
Exactly,
you know?
Right? So when we're talking about like heavy action, action-packed games, like no one thinks about it, right? But when we're talking about like a story heavy experience, like The Missing, or
Last of Us,
or The Last, I think, and you know, and I think that if you know,
like, would that game have been any like much different if Joel just happened to be Hispanic?
No, I can't see it being different.
No,
you know, like based, like, you know, and it's just, and that's just it's one of those things, right? Because like a lot of times when I hear conversations about like why is this character this, or like where did you come from when you made this, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, you know, because when we made the game, we just really wanted to blah 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 blah, right? But like just being like, well, there are people like that out there.
So what do you think? What do you guys think about Capcom's stance on the character Poison?
About how she's trans?
Well, yeah, so that character was not intended to be trans, right? But the U.S. had a problem with men beating up on female characters, so the official canon was that in the United States, Poison was trans.
Yeah.
And they've been asked about it since then. Obviously, that was a long time ago,
sure.
Right? And they still stand by that. What do you think about that when a creative director, whoever came up with the character Poison, did not intend for it to be that way, but the publisher as a whole has kept it that way?
I feel like that's I feel like that's a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't want to beat up. I'm not okay with beating up a woman. Totally okay with beating up a trans woman.
Sure.
And so,
I mean, that was a long time ago.
Sure, but like that doesn't make it any more okay, right?
I'm talking more about the situation now.
Not like where they've just maintained that she's trans. You know, this seems like a. What are you doing?
Sorry, you've had like string hanging off your beard on the side. It was killing me.
Oh, anyway, so I feel like that's not something that you kind of want to like go back and forth on, right?
Yeah.
Like if you said that she's trans 20 years ago, then she'll just stay trans, right? Because like why not? Like, you know, like why not?
The question comes up a lot in the FGC.
Yeah, and I think that the reason that they made her trans is fucked up, but I mean, like, obviously I don't have a problem with her being trans. I just think that the reason that she's trans and has remained trans is fucked up.
You think it was fucked up that they made the change, or it was fucked up that the U.S. needed that change to be made?
I think it's fucked up that the U.S. needed that change to be made.
Yeah.
Because again,
women
like,
can fight too.
Well, it's like, again, it's just like, because again, the narrative behind that change is I won't beat up a woman, but I will totally beat up a trans woman because I feel like she is less of a woman. So like, that's fine.
Yeah.
With me, and I think that's messed up. You know, at the same time, like, what about Chun-Li then?
What about Chun-Li?
Well, we'll fight Poison.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our mind, we won't fight Poison because she's a woman, but we'll totally fight Chun-Li.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you I don't know. I think that making changes like that, based on that kind of response, are messed up.
I mean, to be fair, Chun-Li is the strongest woman.
Sure, she is the strongest woman, but I think that Capcom, they made the change fine, but I also think that they could have very easily just been like, no, we'll poison the woman. So
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I totally forgot about that whole thing. But,
yeah. How do you feel that there's only been one female robot master?
I feel like that seems weird. Like, well, then you get to the conversation to like because like,
are they male or female? If
well,
they're robots,
like they're robots, right? So like they can't like. Well, there are people who gender robots, right? Like people gender Siri
like
all the
the
time.
Mega Man series.
Sure.
Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man, right?
Yeah. Cut Man.
Yeah. Well, what's the woman called?
I could be wrong. I think it's Blast Woman, but I don't remember.
But why gender the robots?
Remember. Yeah.
Just make them bots.
They're all just ribbits.
Well, I just think it's because I think that like we because of the way our minds work, we gender stuff all the time. Like I said, like people gender their Siri all the time. Like I hear people like depending on the voice that your Siri has, people will refer to Siri as he or she.
Well, because it's hot.
Sure. And also it talks to you and has sassy comebacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Siri's more of a friend to me than you guys are.
I believe it.
I haven't talked to that bitch in years.
But like I was saying, I don't think that I don't expect this to be important to anybody else. I know that it is important to some people, but I mean, again, I play video games for myself, and when I see myself being portrayed, not myself, obviously not specifically me, but when I see people of my ethnicity being portrayed like in a good, like a powerful, positive way, it makes me feel good, because that isn't often the case.
And I think that like you feel more seen and heard in your community when you see representation in the games that you're playing. Yeah. And I think that helps a lot with like bolstering a community where people feel more comfortable to not have toxic conversations in forums.
On the flip side, I do sometimes feel like it feels forced.
Yeah,
like with Overwatch specifically.
No,
I feel like they try really hard. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't try, but I feel like they try really hard to have a good mix of different people from different backgrounds, and they do a really poor job of portraying those backgrounds.
As cute as
sometimes they go. Sometimes not just bad, but downright offensive.
As cute as the Tracer, one of the animated Tracer shorts I saw, where she was like rushing home to her girlfriend and being like cute. Queer baiting is definitely a thing. I don't know. Like,
I wasn't even talking about that, but sure.
Yeah. Well, because they go out of the like
this is a gay woman.
Well, like because it was back closer to the launch of that game, where like Blizzard confirms that Tracer is gay or that Symmetra is on the spectrum, and like, I mean, cool. But, like, was anybody asking that Symmetra was on the spectrum?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, maybe they were. I don't know. But, like, it just seems like I know that one of the things that, like, I've heard Tom say many times is, like, I don't want diversity for the sake of diversity. And it just seems like they have this huge eclectic, like, mix of characters. And I feel in some ways to their detriment.
Well, it's like with like Diva, it's like let's have a skin for her that's her in a traditional porigi, which like no modern Korean people would be wearing.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Except their very first birthday. That's about it.
Yeah.
So. And she's obviously not one.
She could be. You don't know how old she is.
That's true.
Like maybe for some reason she's genetically made.
Sure. Well, I mean, Ed was genetically made, so I think he's like one.
Yeah. It's a big baby.
Yeah, and So, just to compare it to, I mean, it has a much smaller cast, and I brought it up, I think, last time we talked about diversity. Borderlands 1, Siren was originally supposed to be a male crazed doctor.
Cyrax?
Cool.
And he was like supposed to be like a mad scientist, and this is when the game had more story in the game.
Sure.
You almost said this is when the game had story, and I was going to applaud you there.
Borderlands
does
one,
not.
Borderlands 1 does not have a story.
It has a
to
premise.
speak of.
It has
Sure, it has a premise.
It has an outline.
No story.
So when there was actually more story to be like discussed and made in the game when they were in production, and then things changed and they decided to make Siren a woman, and name her Siren, and
It'll always be Cyrax to me.
yeah, but
I keep wanting to do the Cyrax noise, but I'm not gonna do it.
in like a similar vein, and like I know it's not as fast paced but they are still like more competitive games than like say a visual novel, or I mean everything's more a competitive game than that. But
That just depends on how fast you read.
they didn't. I don't remember ever seeing any of them capitalize like we got a girl and she shoots machine guns.
Yeah.
And they could probably just somehow make a statement if someone asked about her sexuality or anything like that, and just drop that if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And if Blizzard was just like, oh yeah, we confirm that Tracer's a lesbian, or that just like show that short. But the way that they pushed it and like talked about it before, it was like, oh, we have gay and whatever on that is where the queer baiting, in my opinion, comes in, and that's just
I just don't like being pandered to, you know.
Yeah, and that's not good representation.
It's just insulting in some ways. And I'm not gonna speak for, you know, how people want to feel about any of these characters. I think that,
I think Overwatch is great. I really do. But I just feel like it feels a bit forced.
Yeah.
It is.
And like I don't like, by no means do I not want, you know, gay people or people on the spectrum to be represented in video games. I think it's great, but I just think that like when you're going out of I feel like when you're going out of your way to pander to people, it's just insulting. But you know, with that said, you know, I it seems like I once read a thing about like Blizzard has all these characters that they've added, and they have yet to add a black woman to the game. I'm like, I mean, I think black women are awesome, but like, I don't want someone to put a black woman in the game for the sake of putting a black woman in the game.
Right.
You know,
there's this. I just thought of this because I saw Kako Demon here. There's
Sure.
this old. I forget what it's called, but there's this old Doom mod that like tries to make it like sort of hentai while you're playing it, right?
Cool.
So it's just like Kako Demons with boobs. Like that's representation
where are the boobs?
They're just like there, like in the front, on the bottom, you know.
Is it like right underneath
Yeah.
the
I just
mouth?
feel like
It's just like
feel like
hideous monsters with boobs and stuff. It's really funny.
I feel like a better mod would just make the Kako Demon just the whole thing a boob.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
Sure.
Yeah, and I definitely, with character creation, I do wish I do understand that there is limitations and how difficult it would be to make a bunch of different character models instead of just scaling and stuff like that.
Sure.
Totally understand. I think it would, even though I myself am a thin person and my body scale would probably fit on one of those like little scaler thingies, but not everybody's does. And I would like to have like more. I would like to have more like body like changes that I can make, like have the bottom half be real wide.
It's hard for certain games though, right? Like The Sims, it's easy to do, but like
But even The Sims is like has limitations because you're either like fat or whatever. There's no like fat bottom half, skinny top half.
Yeah, you can. You totally can.
Oh, maybe since the last time.
But like anyhow, in more traditional video games, like a Soul Calibur, right, or like Ryan was talking about with Monster Hunter, the character models have to have a hitbox. And you can change the outside framing of the character design without altering that hitbox. But at a certain point, if that character gets too large or too small, it's going to look very bad in game, you know?
Sure.
It's just, I'm not saying it's impossible. But
one,
man, would that be hard?
I just want a
just
character
put
with
one fade. That's it. Put one fade in the game, and I'll shut up. One fade.
But you never have a fade.
I'm compromising here, Tom. You know, like I've never been bald either. I've never had an afro either. But I feel like a fade would be closer to any hairstyle that I've had than afro or bald. So
pretty close to bald.
Well, I'm getting there rapidly.
It's all right. Me too. I'm right there with you.
But I was wondering, you know how like when how like a lot of time like women will come under scrutiny when they say that they play video games, even though the number suggests that like a lot of women play video games.
The number suggests that it's an even split.
Right. I wondered if, let's say, video games, like every video game protagonist ever had always been a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that would still be the case. If people would, if a woman said, "Hey, I play video games," if like a dude would still be skeptical of whether or not she plays video games.
I don't know, man.
Probably not.
I wonder that. Because remember when Metroid turned out to be a woman?
I mean, yeah, that was the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that very first game?
But yeah, I don't know. It's cool when it happens, and I don't expect it to happen all the time or very often at all. But when it does, I'm really happy about it. Like in Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, is a 10-hour expansion for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, where you played Edward Kenway's first mate, Adewale, after he had become an assassin. And the whole game is just you go into plantations and shooting slave owners and freeing slaves. And it's really neat.
That's dope.
Yeah, you just roll up on plantations and shoot slave owners in the chest with a blunderbuss. And that's really cool. I like that.
Can you use a bayonet?
I don't know. You could use a machete. That's really neat. But
I like the concept you're selling, Ryan, but I do not like Assassin's Creed.
yeah, I think that maybe we make it less Assassin's Creed and more slave owner killing.
Sure. Speaking of selling concepts, I have a new segment.
Here we go.
I'm debuting today.
Here we go.
And this came about through a conversation Ryan and I had yesterday.
Here we go.
I was at work, bored. My mind just kind of wanders.
Yeah.
So this is a segment that I am titling Ryder Strong and the Temple of Osiris.
Cool. Do you know who Ryder Strong is?
No.
That's Corey Matthews' friend on Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
That's his friend
the
Sean.
bad boy.
Oh, is that Sean's real name?
Yeah.
Okay, I only
I don't know
know
if it's
Sean.
real name or not, but that's what he calls himself at least.
Sure, that's his
Oh.
legal name.
Yeah. So I maybe Caco Demon here and maybe Bullet Bill here.
The Caco Demon doesn't have boobs. I don't want it near me.
We are the board of directors
Sure.
at, I don't know what we call it. Verge Games Incorporated.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And today, on today's segment, you guys will each pitch your best idea for a game starring one Malcolm Jamal Warner,
Okay.
also known as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show.
Real quick.
Today.
Is it him as Malcolm Jamal Warner or is it him as Theo?
It is him as Theo.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring this character back.
Trying to bring
All right.
Theo back.
We're trying to. It's been a long time.
Sure.
We're trying to make this character popular again.
Sure.
You, as a creative director, have been tasked with making a game starring this character.
Okay.
You pitch it, and we'll see what we decide.
All right. I do have a couple questions.
You get 2 questions each.
Okay. What demographic are we wanting to pitch this game to?
Everybody. Look, here at Verge Games Inc., we want to sell to as many people as possible.
So edutainment is out of the window. Got it.
I don't know. A lot of people like
What-
Oregon Trail.
That's true.
So
That is true.
I was thinking about like a typing adventure.
sure. I mean, you could do that. Typing of the Dead's not edutainment, is it?
Yeah.
Just do Typing of the Dead where you type Theo over and over again.
You are not either of you supposed to know. I mean, if you happen to know a lot about Theo Huxtable, great. Helps you. If you don't, it's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Is it allowed to be M-rated?
Yes.
So not everybody's, not small children.
It can be rated whatever you want it to be rated.
Sure.
All right.
Just sell the game, you know?
Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to accept your pitch, but, we'll see. Ryan, any questions?
Is this all platforms?
It's whatever you think it should be on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If we need to sign a second party relationship with somebody, we'll do it.
I can't ask any other questions.
Okay.
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 Is Bill Cosby a monster in this?
You are already out of questions.
Sure. But to be fair, Bill Cosby is already a monster. So.
Well, I'm just saying.
We're not talking about Bill Cosby.
I'm just saying.
Talking about his spawn.
Sure.
All right. Spawn-like game, but with the Hawks.
Shanae, pitch your game. And this is supposed to be serious, by the way. You want us to pick up this idea. All right?
No, I don't want to go first. Ryan goes first.
All right, sure.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan goes first.
Okay. So the idea that I have is for it's actually going to be a sequel, number 3.
Okay.
It's going to be the third Life is Strange game.
Wow.
Okay.
Not a direction I thought we would go.
Yeah.
Square Enix publishes that, but we'll see what we can do.
Well,
We'll see what we can do.
I happen to know that so recently the Life is Strange name has, they've lost it. So now you can, it's up for grabs.
Okay.
And I happen to have sole creative rights right now of Life is Strange right now.
Okay.
Okay? You understand?
Life is Strange 3. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So basically in the game you play as Theo Huxtable, and he is going through a lot trying to impress all the ladies at his local high school. But at the same time, his interest in impressing the ladies is coming at odds with the obligations that he has at home to his family, specifically to his father. I'm not going to tell you who his father is. You know who his father is.
Okay.
Okay. So there are many times where Theo.
Does he have powers?
Yeah, I was getting into that.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
So there are many times where Theo will have to make a choice. Will I go after this? Will I go after this fly honey, or will I go home and do the thing that my dad told me to do? Okay. So there are times where you have to decide: am I going to do? So there are times where you have to decide, like, what am I going to do, or are you going to, maybe you'll figure out a way to do both. And there are different dialogue choices that will allow you to maybe finagle your way into doing both. But say you make the wrong choice, then instead of Life is Strange 1 had the time travel.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if Life is Strange 2 also had the time travel. I
No.
didn't play that. Okay.
But I think they have different powers. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We didn't make that game.
Okay. So Theo has a mind control power that he can use to change people's minds, but he can only use it once a day.
Okay.
So you have to strategically use.
So he can bend people's will.
Yeah.
Okay.
To his will, but only once a day. So what you have to do is you have to make different dialogue choices to, like, very strategically, and decide. And then at various points you're going to be like, am I going to use it here?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I can only do it once a day. And so basically you have to go. Your object of the game is to basically get the 2 fly honeys that you've been looking at, and also make sure that that you clean the garage and mow the lawn and do all the other chores that Dad told you to do.
Okay.
While managing your time and your mind control power.
So we're gonna deny this pitch.
Hold on.
Because we feel like with recent events, you should know that we're trying to distance this character from Cliff.
I didn't say
Okay.
Cliff.
So, well, you said dad.
Well, I mean, I left it ambiguous, so.
Shanae, your pitch?
This is actually not part of my pitch. I just wanted to put this out there. I asked the monster question because I originally wanted to do something like Fatal Frame, but it's dad's victims.
That's a bit insensitive.
But
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah. So now I've just been thinking, you know what makes a lot of money these days?
What do you think makes a lot of money these days?
Mobile games.
You're not wrong.
Microtransactions.
Well, I like where this is going.
The Huxtable Go.
So basically, it's going to be one of those like diner games where you have to like make the food for people and like they have like a specific way.
I know what a diner game is.
You're exact. I don't know if you know these things. So
Okay.
The interview's not going well for you.
it's a pitch, not an interview. So it's gonna be one of those, and then we can use the pudding pop brand since everyone loves that phrase. And you know, just Theo has a summertime job, slinging some ice cream.
You know, what I just told Ryan, we're trying to distance Theo from Cliff.
And you said the pudding pops.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole show. It's not just him. Everyone loves them. It's brandable. People recognize.
I mean, that really was more of a Bill Cosby thing than a Cosby Show thing.
Yeah. He was doing that as Bill Cosby, not Cliff Huxtable.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I don't know things.
Okay, so your pitch has been turned down for obvious reasons.
Yeah. It's very insensitive.
It
Like
started off
to
strong.
thank you guys for your pitches. We'll hear the new games next week.
Okay.
All right.
Can we take turns being the Verge games
No, that's me.
executive?
Mm-mm.
You can be a
Because
different
I'd
executive.
like to hear your pitches too, Tom.
That's not happening.
Do we
I
want?
put up the money. You put up the games.
Okay.
Do we want to do a game or?
We just did a game.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you want to do a game, because this is
It's our
this
show.
segment is going to continue at least until mid-September.
Why until then?
You'll see.
Are you making a game? Are you using these ideas to make your game?
So, Shanae, when
No.
someone says you'll see, that means they don't want you asking any more questions.
Yeah, I thought I told you at the beginning of this, you get 2 questions.
Yeah, you just ask 2 more questions, right? Like back to back.
Yep. I don't follow rules very well.
Okay.
It's why I normally make the game.
Okay.
Okay. So,
What's your game?
Yeah, what's this game? Are we guessing developers or voice actors again?
No, it's called
Right.
it's called My First Time.
Okay.
Whoa.
I remember my first time.
Well, I do too.
My
Hello,
mom
nasty.
came home.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna name like a feature of a video game, and you're gonna and you're gonna say the first game that had that feature.
Oh shit, this is gonna be hard. Okay.
Yeah, suck it. Hope none of you get any of these right.
I'll be mad because your game didn't get picked up. Ryan's didn't either.
Yeah, I'm okay. I got tons of ideas. Back to the drawing board, you know?
Yeah, I honestly like yours a lot more than mine though.
Yeah.
That was really creative.
Sure. Well, there are
We almost had it.
there are frightening implications with trying to get girls and having mind control powers, and I'm actually kind of glad that game did get picked up.
Sure. Sure.
My game would have been garbage, but at least would have made money. So autosave.
The first game to have autosave? Holy fuck.
Can I get a hint about the generation?
Sinead doesn't know Generations.
Okay,
That was gonna be my thing. I was like, I can tell you what console it was on.
that's fine.
It was on the NES.
Wow.
With autosave or with save? Because I know a lot of NES games had a save feature. They were the ones that had the battery in them, right?
Yeah.
They had to have a battery in it to allow you to save. I can't think of any with autosave, though.
I don't think I ever played an NES game with autosave in it.
I don't know. I'm stumped.
Legend of Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda, does it have autosave?
There are some scenes where it automatically saves it.
Wow,
That's kind
okay.
of neat.
Okay, wow.
Motion capture.
Motion capture.
And this console I do not remember, so I'm looking that up right
You know
now.
what sucks is I know the first game with performance capture. I don't know the first game with motion capture.
What's the first game with performance capture?
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. No, excuse me. Fucking Heavenly Sword.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Rise of the Robots.
I played that game.
I don't know that I've heard of that one.
It's a fighting game. Super Nintendo.
Wait.
So Mortal Kombat at that time was doing
I know what Mortal Kombat was doing.
Yeah, something similar, and a lot of people say that was the first motion capture, but it was not actually motion capture. Animated cutscene.
Ninja Gaiden?
No.
That's a good guess, Ryan. But Pac-Man technically has animated cutscenes.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
correct. It is Pac-Man.
Okay.
People normally credit Donkey Kong, but the little animations in between is a cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
Shanae, I want to say one thing. One, I think that you're adorable because you're speaking like a true video game scholar.
Well, I actually researched this one, so yeah.
I like it. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Oh.
Fuck. I feel like I knew this one at one point, and now I don't.
Loot boxes.
It's a Japanese game.
Japanese loot boxes. Japan loot.
Japan 4. Does she sing?
Japanese.
Can I get a hint on the console this game was on?
PC.
So
It was PC. That's my guess anyway.
it is PC, Microsoft Windows.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, can I get a hint on the year?
2005.
I don't know. That's not going to help me.
2003.
I don't know.
2003, and it first released in Japan. It is a Japanese game. And yeah, just 2003 computer game.
The Fantasy Star Online.
No guesses.
Maple Story.
Oh, there you go.
I
Damn.
thought that game was Korean.
Wow.
Well, I'll be goddamn.
Well, it's a Japanese version of the game. Is the first one to have loot boxes.
I see.
It's a good game. I like this game.
New Game Plus.
Oh, shit. I know this.
You're
You're going to say it. I'm going to fucking hate myself.
It's on the tip of my tongue. New Game Plus. I'm blanking here.
I will give you a hint.
Okay.
A hard hint.
Okay.
We talked about it when I first got here.
River City Ransom?
No, like today.
Oh.
I don't know what we talked about.
What did we talk about when you got here?
Street Fighter? Street Fighter didn't have New Game Plus.
Yeah, every game's a new game, you know?
Oh, fuck.
I was going to give it away, but you asked me if I was playing video games while I was driving.
Oh, Ghosts and Goblins?
Yep.
Really?
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, because you got to beat it and then you got to beat it
I know
again.
it has it, but that's the first?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
What year was
Okay.
that?
Okay.
No, if you don't know it, don't look it up. It's fine.
Like 86 or 7.
I feel like a little bit later than that. I could be wrong, though.
So the first game, so the first game that actually called it New Game Plus was Chrono Trigger. But
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
before that, Digital Devil Saga, Megami Tensei had it, and
Shin Megami Tensei.
And then,
Tensei.
they didn't call it that, so did Ghost and Goblins and Legend of Zelda.
Ghost and Goblin, this dick.
Yep.
Did you hear what Tom said?
Yep.
Oh, wait, I forgot.
Tom, when we were doing our game pitch, you should have done the horror movie one.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, that's my game
Oh,
today.
it's over.
Yeah, I was laughing because the game's done.
All right. That's
But
good.
yeah,
I like that game. That's the best game you've had in a while.
Yeah.
thank you.
Do more good games.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing games that you guys wanted points, but now I'll just do stuff like that.
That's some real brain scramblers. Is that what they call them?
Brain teasers.
Yeah.
Brain
Head scratchers.
scramblers, yeah. Rib ticklers.
Dick whistlers.
So that was God damn it. That was our show
Oh,
this
yeah.
week. If you want to find us online, We are on.
Let me just say, this was an exceptional episode. So, you know.
I think it's because you got pitched. You got pitched to, and you love that.
Yeah, but Ryan's topic was good. Your game was good. It was a good one. I like this one.
I'm excited to upload this.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see more fades.
I feel like I had a title for the episode, but now I'm really leaning toward Dick Wigglers.
Oh shit!
It should be Ghost and Goblin the Stick.
Yeah,
sure. I'll definitely have to put the mature filter on that one.
Very funny. It's very funny.
So you can find us on most podcast apps,
All
browsers, YouTube.
You don't have to say the browsers anymore or the YouPorn anymore.
Yeah, they get it. The joke's over.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna keep doing it because Ryan, you made me say it so many times.
You realize you haven't done it the last few weeks, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's our show. I'm done. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.